Top 5 most brutal torture methods used throughout history. Coming in at number 5, we have what is known as the breaking wheel, the Wheel of Catherine, or simply the wheel. The history of this device can be traced back to antiquity, where it was used for capital punishment. References are also found in the works of 6th century author Gregory of Tours. Used frequently throughout history, the wheel was a brutal device. One form of torture on the wheel involved tying people to it and repeatedly bludgeoning them, breaking arms, legs, and any other bones the captors deemed fit. The wheel was more elaborately used by tying the victim to the device and mounting it on an A-frame, allowing it to rotate across undesirable things such as fire or metal spikes. In the most horrible noted use of the wheel, the victim would have all 4 limbs broken and threaded through the spokes, then placed on a large pole and left out in the sun for days. Number 4 was created as a torture device to roast victims alive. The brazen bull, also known as the bronze bull or the bull of Phalaris, was said to be a gift to King Phalaris of Greece by his sculptor, Paralos, around 570 BC. As the name implies, the bull was made entirely of brass, one of the best metals for conducting heat. It was fitted with a door on one side and a horn system in the nostrils to amplify the screams of its victims. Victims were locked inside and a fire lit underneath, heating the metal until the victim was roasted to death. The sculptor Paralos believed he would receive a reward for his creation. Instead, the king ordered that Paralos test the horn system inside the bull. When inside, the door was immediately locked and a fire lit under. Before Paralos could die, the king ordered the door to be opened and Paralos to be removed. But not escaping a gruesome end, the king ordered Paralos to be taken to the top of a cliff and thrown off. As karma would have it, it is claimed that King Phalaris was himself killed in the brazen bull when he was overthrown by rival king Telemachus. Number 3 on our list is the practice of Ling Chi. Ling Chi was used in China, Vietnam, and Korea. The first recorded use of Ling Chi was in 450 AD, and this gruesome practice was not ended until 1905. It was reserved for only the most severe offenses such as murdering your own parents, killing your master, committing mass murder, or betraying the emperor. The victim would first be tied to a pole in public. The executioner would then begin to cut pieces off the victim slowly, ultimately decapitating the victim along with removing their arms and legs. The execution could last for hours, resulting in thousands of cuts. In Confucianism, the main religious belief at the time, individuals' bodies were meant to be intact at the time of death. Therefore, cutting the victim's body to pieces meant the victim wouldn't be whole in the afterlife. Number 2 is molten gold. In the use of molten gold, the victim would be tied or held down, and molten gold, or another form of molten metal, would be poured down their throat. Roman Emperor Valerian the Elder is rumored to have died in this agonizing way. A recent study was performed on a dissected bovine larynx. Researchers found that when the larynx was filled with molten lead, large amounts of steam rushed out of each end, meaning that if it was done to a live human being, the technique would send large amounts of steam pressure into the body, not only cooking your internal organs, but bursting them as well. Number 1 on our list is flaying. Also known as skinning, it was a method of torture where the skin of the victim was gradually removed from the body with surgical precision. If the unfortunate victim survived the initial shock and critical loss of blood, they would likely die days later due to infection. Flaying was popularized under the Neo-Assyrian Empire during the 9th century BC. Continuing in usage throughout medieval Europe, flaying was most commonly used for the execution of traitors. Flaying became the most popular in Imperial China, with the Hongwu Emperor ordering the mass flaying of 5,000 women in 1396.